Hello and welcome to the Recruit Rockstars podcast, where we focus on the people part of your growth stage company. I'm your host, Jeff Hyman. Every Tuesday and Thursday, I interview a world-class expert on talent and recruiting so that you can build a company filled with rock stars. And I've done it again today. You can thank me later for nabbing this guest. We've been in touch for a long time. It's our first time meeting. I've been super looking forward to it. Let me tell you briefly about Jessica Adams, because her story and her company story are pretty remarkable. She's head of HR, recruiting, talent, people, whatever you want to call it. She leads the whole enchilada around the talent function at Brad's Deals. You're probably a customer. I sure am. Brad's Deals is based in Chicago with some employees scattered, but the concentration of the employees are based here in Chicago. And listen to this. Jessica joined 9 years ago as employee number 9, the first head of talent. The business now has 90 employees. So she has seen it go through, obviously, a number of evolutions and phases. And along the way, she's been named Game Changer by Workforce Magazine. Huge. She was named to the Benny Award, which is for employee benefits. She knows the stuff inside and out. I'm going to learn a thing or two. I think you are too. Here we go. Welcome to the show, Jessica.
Jeff, hi. Thank you so much for having me. I'm a big fan of your newsletter, so really excited to be chatting.
I've been looking forward to it so much. I don't even know where to start. Why don't we start at the top? Brad's Deals. There must be someone named Brad. I'm guessing there's some kind of deal. Give us the 60 seconds just for people that are hearing it for the first time.
Yes, there is a Brad, and he started this back in 2001 trying to save money on textbooks. And so where we have evolved as a company today is being a curated guide to the best deals online. So if you see it on our website, it is the best price you will find anywhere online. And that is our guarantee and our promise to our readers. And it's been a really exciting ride to be with Brad's Deals because we are still a bootstrapped company. And so everything we've been able to do is because we've been profitable and making the right decisions to reinvest that money back into the organization.
So anyone who thinks you cannot attract world-class talent unless you go out and raise 5, 10, 20, $50 million of venture capital and private equity, you would beg to differ.
I would. There are lots of free and scrappy ways to find really awesome talent.
We're going to touch on some of those, including your amazing, amazing alumni program. But before we get to that, so I go to Brad's Deals. I can get all kinds of deals on all kinds of things. Give us the founder's story. I met Brad once years ago, but the business obviously is much bigger. What inspired him to start this? He wanted to save money on textbooks.
He did. He was back in college and couldn't get over the price of textbooks in the college bookstore and went online and found them for much better prices. And then created flyers and stood outside the bookstore, and there was a lot of demand. People, of course, wanted to save money, and so he started building Brad's Deals when he was in college, and here we are 19 years later with a company that's doing that for millions of subscribers every day.
I love it. So he started at 19 years ago. You joined 9 years ago. If I do my math correctly, for 10 years he had less than 10 employees. It was really super small and scrappy.
Correct, very small.
And now it's quote unquote a real business. So congratulations, first of all, on where the business is at. Obviously, the people piece of that makes it possible. So now let's dig into that. So you've got roughly 90 employees in 2 office locations, as I understand it.
We do, but we also have a talent anywhere mentality. And so we do have about 30% of our workforce is scattered across the United States as well.
And was that the case from the beginning, or did you implement that somewhere along the way to kind of open up the funnel when it comes to talent?
So opening up the funnel has definitely been a positive outcome of this, but we did it actually as a retention tool. So life happens, and we had some Rockstar employees that we wanted to retain. And the way to do that was let them make their life decision and have them work remotely for us.
Got it. And you were expecting or fearing the worst, and it turned out to be amazing, I'm guessing.
We started with 1 employee, and it has been so successful that we've continued to grow the program.
What's the biggest negative for people that are still on the fence about letting employees work from wherever they want to work from?
I would say for us, the biggest negative has been for all of the new hires is really making sure they understand the culture before they even accept the job, because it is different to not have the person you're working with every day right next to you where you can see if they're in the office or in a meeting
Yeah.
or out to lunch. And so when we are recruiting folks, we really stress at all stages of our interview, both with HR and with the hiring manager, that we are a remote workforce. And in fact, 100% of our workforce has at least one day being remote. And so really making sure that people are comfortable with that, because it's a change or an adjustment for a lot of the candidates that we speak with.
The bar really goes up on communication, right?
100%.
You have to work twice as hard to over communicate.
There is no such thing as over communication when you have a remote workforce, and really making sure that we're implementing ways that help us get that in all the different channels, whether it's in person, in email, in Slack, in different team meetings, and that information, holding managers accountable for
Hmm.
cascading information as well.
Do you ever fly everyone into Chicago ever?
We do. They're actually all coming in next week
So
for
is that a regular ritual or is that just a special occasion?
we usually do it annually for everyone, and then other teams have meetings throughout the year where
Got it.
people will fly in. But the entire company is all here at the same time, usually in January or February after the end of the holiday shopping season.
Which is your big time of year.
It sure is.
So if I was a fly on the wall at that meeting, other than trying to sober up, what else would I learn or take away? What is the goal of that meeting that would make you say, wow, that's worth spending? I'm guessing it's a lot of money. What is that meeting all about?
We like to build in time for people to not talk about work, so
Hmm.
they can talk about what's going on in their life, the new thing that their baby is doing, the yoga class that they really are enjoying, the hot sauce that they just tried.
Yeah.
Because we find that when you can have stronger relationships and have that strong friendship at work, it just makes working together that much easier. And quite frankly, it's a better retention tool. There's a lot of studies out there that say that having a best friend at work is like having an additional 100 grand added to your base salary.
Well, that this is important enough. I've never heard it. It's important enough to repeat. Say it one more time, please, for the listeners. You guys need to write this down.
If you have a best friend at work, if you needed to monetize that, it would be like having an additional 100 grand added to your base salary. That's how valuable a friend at work is.
So understanding our DNA and hiring for that to make sure we're hiring people that are like-minded, not undiverse, but like-minded. And any money we spend to get them facilitating, communicating, and loving each other is money well spent if I can't afford to pay top dollar.
Yes,
It's
it's
huge.
it's super important.
I can see why you make the investment of the annual meeting. Now, as you've evolved, right, over 9 years, you've gone from 9 people, now 90. When you think back to that time, I'm guessing it's been a blur, Jessica. What are the different phases in terms of size over the 9 years that the feel of the place, the type of person you were recruiting, the DNA really evolved?
So I would say probably around the 20-25 person mark is where we saw our company really looking to mature. We needed to have more processes in place. Now, don't get me wrong, we want to be nimble. We don't want to be bogged down by red tape, but just a little bit more formality than just everybody kind of running every which way. You find that at that point in growth too, people become owners in projects, and you might need to have someone be more of a subject matter expert or a specialist in certain areas. And so you tend to grow in terms of your teams and your departments and different focus or specialty areas. So we saw that kind of around the 20-person mark, where we needed to be looking for different types of talent, maybe not so many jack of all trades, but a specialist. I think we saw that again around the 50-person mark, really formalizing what the team structures and the team dynamics are going to be looking like. And I think that we'll be getting close to that again when we get to around 100 or 125 person mark, really just trying to figure out, do we have the right organizational structure in place to
Right.
continue to support the roadmap and the goals and the needs that we have as an organization.
So it's basically doubling, right? Every time you went from 9, like when you joined, you went to 25, then 50. Now it's going to be 100. Things changed dramatically. Have you needed to upgrade the talent or make changes along the way as the business potentially outgrew some individuals, assuming you couldn't make room for them somewhere else?
Yes, and that's a really important thing, and actually something that we as an organization look to do from the EOS or traction framework. And so we do reviews that we call GWC, and it stands for, can this employee get it? Can they do it? And do they want it? So
Hmm.
really making sure that we're finding people that not only have the expertise, but have the drive to continue to grow and aspire and do more in their career. And I think we're at an interesting point with the proverbial steady Eddie, and really trying to understand if that is the right type of role to retain long term, or if there is kind of a shelf life for that type of a role, because it ultimately becomes a blocker for you to get in a rock star or potentially
Yeah.
promote somebody that's ready to grow into that next role.
And then it really starts to hold back the organization and its growth.
It certainly can, right?
You mentioned Rockstar, your word, not mine. How do you know a Rockstar candidate before you hire them? What is it? I'm guessing it's not their resume. So what is it about a candidate that makes you, someone who's been doing this for over a decade, say, ah, we got a winner here?
I think it's those people that prove through their experiences, whether it is professional or even extracurricular, that they're doing more to go above and beyond. They're the people that are constantly reading. And so, one of the questions that we like to talk about is, what's something new you want to learn? What's a great book you just read? Or what article really resonated with you? And really see what it is they're they're reading, and what their passions are, and how they want to potentially incorporate some of that work into what they're doing professionally. So of course there are the experiences that you're looking for, the technical skills that you want to make sure somebody has, but we hire when it hurts. And so we want to make sure that we're finding folks that really have that drive and that fire to just kick butt in the work
Right.
that they're doing.
Right. And you're looking at their track record to see if that's the case. Drill down one more time. What gives you the clues? What are the markers that they
Sure.
have those characteristics? Because I can't tell it from a resume.
So actually, one of the things that we do is something that we actually got from one of your newsletters, which is a question that you said that you ask all your candidates about. Kind of, I'm asking you this question a little bit cart before the horse, but
Hmm.
who can I speak to as a reference for you as your work? And it's been super important for us to ask that question and see what people say, because if they're not talking about key stakeholders that they've worked with, and they're going to be in a role that is responsible for managing a product or a bunch of different teams or departments, that's a red flag for us. If they're not talking about someone that's their direct report and they're in a management role, that's a red flag for us. Or they're
Got it.
not talking about senior leaders in the company. So that's one of the things that we look at. We really like to probe on, again, some of the things that they're doing outside of the office. Who are they as a person? And that also helps us understand if this is going to be a fit for them, and ultimately help us provide the right information for them to decide if we're going to be the right fit for them too, because it's a two-way street. We're both trying to make sure that it's the right place for somebody to grow in their career. And one of the most common words that we hear spoken about when people are asked, if you had to describe Brad Steels in one word, the most common answer that we get at 3-month check-ins from all new hires is family. And that's a
Really?
really strong
Family.
family.
Well, you
And
should
it's a
feel pretty good
really
about that because you
strong
don't hear
word.
that often at a 90-person internet company.
Correct.
You might
And so
hear
we are
sweat,
we are
overworked, stuff like that. um, I have so many places I want to go. Okay, let's you and I in the pre-interview were talking about something fascinating, which is your alumni program, your alumni club. Now, most listeners would say, well, my college has an alumni club. What the hell does a company have an alumni club? Please tell us about this. And let's sell the listener on this. Start with the benefits. What has the alumni club done for you and Brad Steels? And then give us some of the key components of it.
Sure. So our alumni club is probably about 2.5 years old, and we have been able to, in different capacities, whether it be an employee or even a contractor, bring back 5 former employees that have left Brad's Deals for greener pastures somewhere else, and then it was not, and they decided to come back. And so what we've done with our alumni program is twofold. One is we do proactive reach out to all of our alumni of Brad's Deals, anybody that's ever left the company.
Even if they were fired for performance, they're in the alumni club?
We include them in the alumni club.
Even if they shot the office manager?
I hope I never have to make that determination. Maybe we would make an exception at that point in time.
But really, you're putting your best foot first and saying, look, if you were kind enough to invest 6 months, 6 years of your career here, we're going to treat you as an alum, right?
Correct. Likely they still have friends that work here.
Right.
And ultimately, even if they left not because they wanted to involuntarily, they're still going to be out there talking about their experiences with our company. They might know our next Rockstar hire, and we want them to talk about us as positively as possible.
It's easy to forget, but even if someone resigned and moved on to something else because they had a great career opportunity or some headhunter called them, they still might have a friend for whom Brad's Deals would be their dream job, right?
Exactly right. So that's another facet of our alumni program. So the first one is we reach out quarterly with updates from current employees and former employees.
Just kind of keep in the loop, keep in the circle.
Exactly right. And then in that, we include all open jobs that we have. And we do that because of the second facet of our program. All alumni are included in our employee referral program. So the same bonus that our employees would receive if we were to hire a candidate that they suggested, we offer to our alumni as well. And we think it's so important because our alumni knows the DNA here at Brad's Deals, what it takes to be successful, if a manager is going to be a right fit for their family or their friend.
Yep.
And, we have found that it's been a really great way to invest time because the return is so much higher than anything that goes into it.
Approximately how many hires can you think of that you've made that came from the alumni program?
So we have had probably about 20 that have gone through to interview rounds, but we have not yet hired one.
But that's going to happen soon. But you've had kind of 20 finalists, right?
Correct.
And have you ever hired back a former alum?
We've had 5.
Five Boomerangs.
In the 2.5 years we've had the program.
So we don't have to name names, but these were folks that either you parted ways with or they decided to pursue their career elsewhere. And for whatever reason, they came back. Probably wouldn't have happened if you had not stayed in touch with them, I'm guessing. It would have been a lot less likely.
I would say that that's 100% accurate, that we would never have been able to reconnect in a way that would get them back into the organization.
When you think about those 5 people, what do you think the number one reason they came back was?
I would have to say the opportunity. When you're a small company, there's a lot of challenges that you have to face that big companies don't. But one of the biggest perks that you have as a small company is the opportunity that everybody who works here has. There is just so much autonomy. There is so much runway. There's so much to try. And I think that people really want to be able to make an impact and leave their mark somewhere. And we offer that opportunity here for anyone that's current or coming back.
So the grass is not greener. They go somewhere and they are like, you know what? I miss home, right? I miss the ability to make an impact.
Correct. And for some, the grass has been greener, but maybe it won't be in the future. And we're just going to continue to reach out to them and wish them well. And hopefully our paths cross again in the near future. It's
brilliant. You brought back 5 out of 90, which is probably the highest ratio I've heard for Boomerangs. So kudos for doing that. It's so silly not to, right?
Correct.
When they come back, when a boomerang comes back, what is the signal to the rest of the organization, and what do people, you must hear at the water cooler, what do you hear?
Usually it's just excitement. It's people are always sad when somebody leaves, and it's really excited that people are really excited that they're coming back. And I think the biggest pro to it all is that ramp time is so much less. People know the key players, they know the processes, how things work, and they get to start making that impact really soon and move things off everyone's to-do list. And so people just get really, really excited about that.
Yeah, within a week, right?
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah.
What is the whether it's a boomerang or not a boomerang? Why do people come to Brad's Deals? You seem like the kind of sophisticated head of talent that's really thought about a compelling message, right? It's not we pay top of market, because I'm guessing you're probably not the top payer in Chicago. There's always someone that can pay more. So what do you hang your hat on that makes candidates say, I'd like to do this?
So for us, it's been about having that really great culture, that great value proposition, our core values being really strong and focused not only on our customers, but also on every employee in the company. And really our mission is we're existing to try and help people save money and be able to afford things that they otherwise might not be able to. And I think that resonates really well with people wanting to make a change, and social impact is so important to millennials and the likes. I think that we have a lot of programmers, and we do also have a lot of millennials, and they hold us to really high expectations for what we do as a company. And so it becomes our job to deliver on that. And so
Yep.
making sure that we're really rolling out programs that are new and innovative and are directly focused or impacting what our employees want, not just because it's what people say you should be doing.
Hmm.
And I think that we're really focused on making sure that people can be just as successful in their professional life as they are in their personal life. And that balance, which, you know, that balance is so important to people these days, because I think you need to be happy in all facets of your life.
Yeah, particularly millennials, they really value work-life integration, right?
Right. Yeah. And we've been lucky as a startup, our average tenure is just over 4 years.
That's
Uh,
incredible,
yeah. And
remarkable.
so, and we have a very low attrition rate. And I think one of the other focus areas for us on that is our diversity. And we're really focused on that. And 50% of our employee population, our management and our C-suite are women. And so,
50%. Wow.
correct.
Congratulations. A technology company with 50% women. That's
Yeah.
probably double the Chicago average. What has been the key to doing that? I'm guessing sourcing. Are you looking in places where women are likely to be?
I think we are doing that. I think our flexibility is attractive to people that are the CEO parent, whether they're the mom or the dad, that has to also balance a little bit more of the home life workload. And so our flexibility allows employees to be successful for that. We also developed a women tech accelerator, 5 years ago now. And so we had some empty desks, and we provide them for free to women entrepreneurs across the city, where they can come in and not only have a free place to work, but they get to use all of our employees as subject matter experts. And what's so great about that is that not only do these women entrepreneurs have an expert that they can talk to, but our employees get the chance to be coaches and mentors and try their skill sets in a different industry or solving different challenges.
Yeah. One more reason that they're going to stay, because it makes their
Right.
job a lot more interesting, right?
Yes.
And they
And
learn things
so,
from the process.
correct. And so I think that program has really also helped to solidify the fact that we're really focused on helping women in tech.
I can't give you enough kudos. You have, you're kind of the epitome of heads of talent at a relatively small technology company, right? Not sexy venture capital funded, not sexy private equity funded, and still you've got 4-year average retention. You've got Boomerangs coming back. Sounds like a very vibrant, healthy culture. Any listener if is crazy not to try to replicate this. There's no excuse. There's no reason you can't do it too. Get in touch with Jessica Adams, and she will show you the way. Jessica, how do people learn more about Brad's Deals or get in touch?
Yes, so please check us out online, www.bradsdeals.com, especially if you don't like paying full price for anything. We also have a fantastic app, both for iPhone and Android, and I love to connect with people and continue learning, because chances are someone is doing something better than I am, and I want to steal it, and I want to rip it off and duplicate it here at Brad's Deals, and then maybe make it better, and then reach back out to you and tell you what I'm doing next. So please reach out to me at jessica@bradsdeals.com.
Fantastic. Jessica, thank you. Thank you so much for making the time.
It was a pleasure.